Today we're talking with Chuck Lindsey. He's a Bridgeport native, formerly served on Bridgeport City Council for 20 years, and he's now seeking the seat of mayor. He's also retired from Dominion. Chuck, Bridgeport has seen significant success and growth. Do you believe that growth is being managed well? What would you do differently?
Growth management in Bridgeport's been fair, but there's a lot more I think needs to be done. We need to start focusing a little more on the infrastructure side of things. The older part of town has had some growth to it, but the infrastructure hasn't grown like it needed to be. The stormwater systems, the water system, the sewer systems are really getting taxed. There's a lot of old water lines that need replaced. Stormwater systems need a lot of help. There needs to be additional street repair done way above what their plan is. And curbing all over the city is old from the WPA days. It needs fixed. One of the things too I'd like to see is a little more focus on the small businesses downtown. Now there is some incentives, but a lot of the smaller businesses downtown can't meet those requirements to get financial help and some tax incentives, tax breaks. And there needs to be another plan put in place to help bring in some smaller businesses and help the ones that are there as well. And the big thing with me is public safety. The growth of the city with Charles Point and White Oaks and all the other developments and the new hospital, adding all these facilities, we haven't kept up with staffing in the fire department like it needs to be. The police department is getting better. But the fire department is so undermanned that it worries me. Yeah, we've got volunteer fire departments all over the county that can respond to a scene. But the trick to that is you need to get enough people with the right equipment on the scene of an accident or a fire under 10 minutes. You can't do that with the volunteer fire department. You know, we need to have enough people at our safety complex to handle those calls. One of the big areas is we've got that new safety complex up by the hospital. Problem is it's unmanned a lot of times, and it shouldn't be. And when there is men there, there's only 2 on duty, and that needs to increase. We need to have double the men on shift that they have now. There's 5 normally on duty. There needs to be 10.
Chuck, what's your views on government transparency? Do you believe Bridgeport government is open enough for its residents?
Not really. I've been involved, as you said, with dealing with this issue for 20 years. A lot of people do not like the executive sessions at all. There's too many of them, and voice of experience, there have been a few, maybe more than a few, that have not been necessary. Maybe intentional, maybe not. But the executive sessions are a necessary part of government because you have to be able to deal with personnel issues, city employees, and confidentiality. You have bidding processes and contract negotiations with bidders that, to protect the bidder's information, have to be done in confidence behind closed doors. There's legal issues, real legal issues that need to be, when the city gets accused of something and you have to deal with an attorney, a lot of that most of that needs to be done in confidentiality. That being said, there's too many times that other issues come up well beyond what the executive session was about. Sometimes they'll open the doors back up to the public, usually nobody's there late in the evening. But a lot of times there's numerous topics come up in an executive session that should be in an open meeting environment. One of the things that needs done, because the executive sessions are necessary, is rather than using a generic reason that they have been used for years, which is personnel, advanced construction planning, and matters subject to attorney-client privilege. That's the reason they use all the time. That needs to go away. There's no reason that the mayor, the city manager, or whoever can at least give the public a little more detailed about what that meeting is about. Basically a personnel issue, or or contract negotiations or something of that nature, so that the suspicion that's created by these executive sessions would go away, because there's an awful lot of suspicious people that things aren't above board behind closed doors and with these executive sessions. And I think just being able to give the public a little more detail instead of the same reason would help alleviate that suspicion a little bit. So.
Chuck, are you pleased with the city's current direction? How would you improve it?
Well, generally speaking, yes. Problem is, I've been out of the loop for a couple of years. I didn't run for re-election after 20 years in 2011. So the information I've got, actually what's going on in City Hall is a little bit sketchy. But I do know where the budget is concerned, public safety and most of the other departments are taking a back seat to the Parks and Recreation, and particularly the recreational complex. Excessive fund balances continue to show up. A large portion of those fund balances going to pay off debt on the complex. $1 million fund balances aren't uncommon, and to me that's a sign of one of two things. Poor money management in one or more city departments. That's excess money, items that have been approved for purchase and either for whatever reason not purchased, and that excess money goes into this fund balance fund to be used for other items at the council's discretion. The second, planned dollars for purchases where the department did not get approved that had been originally approved on budget submission. Why that didn't get approved, anyone's guess. It may be for the simple reason of generating excess dollars in a fund balance to be used for some other reason or somebody's pet project. In short, $1 million fund balances and unused budget dollars is simply poor budgeting. I see no reason to have a fund balance of over $1 million time and time again. And even when there is a fund balance, that money needs to be used fairly and equitably over all the departments in the city, not just to pay off one debt. And that's where I stand on that issue. Fair and balanced budgeting is one of my campaign points in all departments.
Chuck, do you support the fire fee as currently implemented? What changes would you make?
Short answer, no, I do not. If we're talking about the recently implemented fire fee to the residents that are outside the service area of the city, no, I don't agree with the way it was implemented, particularly the area out on 131 where all the residents are protesting it. Early on, I was asked to be part of a fire fee appeals board because there were so many complaints. By ordinance, when there's objections to the fire fee, there's an appeals board put together and you listen to all the residents' concerns and complaints. And we interviewed like 18 people, and only one person out of that 18 or 17 had anything positive to say about that fire fee issue out there. I expected it after that appeals board. There was no decision made that evening but I expected an opportunity to express my views on it, and I intended to oppose implementing that fire fee for that group of people. I was never given that opportunity. I found out about the decision in the newspaper that the city was going to go ahead with that fire fee and continue to charge those people that did not want the service. Now, as everyone knows, this has led to a court battle. It's probably going to go to the Supreme Court at this point. And if I get the opportunity, I'm going to try to put a stop to that. There's no point in the city of Bridgeport spending legal money on a court battle to supply services to a group of residents that don't want it. It makes no sense. It's easy to fix. We negotiate with the people that want it, mainly the businesses. There are a lot of people that outside the city that want the service. We need to sort those out. We need to continue to provide that service. And the people that do not want it, particularly the folks out on 73 and 131 to the Marion County line, fine, they want Boothville to serve them, that's all well and good. We'll pick a departing line out there somewhere and stop our service at that point and eliminate their fee.
Chuck, on June 11th, when residents go to vote, what makes you the right candidate?
Well, first of all, I've been on the council for 20 years. I've reelected 5 times, so I must have done something right. I think I can still continue to do those things. And one of the big issues I have is, public safety, as everyone knows, as far as I'm concerned, needs to move up the priority list. And primarily the fire department staffing. To continue to provide service for preservation of property and life, public safety needs to have the proper staffing to do that. We've got the greatest equipment in the world, but nobody to manage it. The thing I want to, people need to understand, are we prepared for the next disaster? Are we prepared for another 85 flood? Are we prepared for another tornado? My answer is no. We're not any better staffed and prepared for that, even though there's steps been taken to do that. People don't realize disaster preparedness and staffing in the fire department and the police department needs to come up the list. People don't realize the dangers and the hazards that travel on rail and truck to the city of Bridgeport every day. That if there were a train wreck or a major spill of a truck downtown or something, we wouldn't be able to handle it. It'd be a big problem. And part of my platform also is, local government needs now more than ever before leadership that reaches out taps the resources of the community, its people. With the growth of our federal government, regulatory agency mandates, we must at local level be able to comply through strategies and development that are carefully planned and executed with budget constraints that remain within our means. Compliance is keeping with the spirit of the law without burdening our local residents with the letter of the law. That's why I want my voice to be heard, to seek the counsel of many in order to gain from the shared knowledge. No man can know enough today by himself. He must have the necessary quality of being able to organize and develop goals and objectives that are realistic and committed to serving our community so that it will remain a stable environment for families to enjoy life. I'm ready to serve, prepared, able, and capable of leading this community. I understand the essence of leadership is influence. It's the type of influence that's offered that makes the difference. No one cares how much you know until they know how much you care. I care and willing to stand up and use my voice and my experience and talents to lead the community I call home, the city of Bridgeport.